Mary Ann is what they call you, but there's no name describing all you could mean to any lucky fellow, or lucky fellow, who will he be?
As a child, I had no ambition to be a performer by any means. I grew up in a very musical family. My father was a teacher of bands and orchestras at the high school and college level, and so we had a lot of musical influence in my family. My mother was also a singer, and she did mostly non-professional things like, weddings and funerals, and she sang in church choirs and did solos and that kind of thing, although she studied voice in college. And so I decided I'd had some really great musical experiences in my high school, at Claremont High School in Claremont, California. And I decided that really the thing I was the most interested in would be being a high school chorus teacher. I had done some musicals, quite a few musicals, when I was in high school. Some of them with starring roles, most of them as secondary roles. In fact, my future wife was in many of these musicals with me. And so I knew what it was to be on stage and to perform, and I liked it, but I didn't really think that's where I would go, so I started working on a bachelor's degree in music education at Cal State Fullerton. And as I took voice lessons as part of that degree, I realized that I had quite a good voice, and people told me that I should try competitions, and I won many of the competitions. But I still kept saying, no, I don't want to be a performer. I don't want to. I understood that opera singers had a lot of traveling involved, and I knew I wanted to have a family. By that time, I was together, boyfriend and girlfriend, with my future wife when I was in college. And it wasn't until I had finished my bachelor's degree and started working on a teaching credential that I went into a couple high schools to do some substitute teaching and to do some work in those programs. And I realized it's really not what I wanted to do. For one thing, I knew it would take way more work than I was willing to put in to have a program like I had in high school. It was really exceptional. And in the meantime, I was winning competitions, and so that sort of encouraged me to consider a career as a solo performer. And at some point, I decided I wouldn't sing any more choruses. I dropped out of the music education program and started doing competitions and more concerts around the Los Angeles area. Then I got an offer to do a master's degree at USC. Got a scholarship to go there. When I began singing in high school, I sort of had more of a tenor voice. And then when I went to Cal State Fullerton to do my bachelor's degree, the only position left in the choir was as a second tenor. And so they put me in as a second tenor, but it really wasn't comfortable. And in fact, by then I had a very strong low voice, and I was helping the basses with their lowest notes from the tenor section. So it was obvious that I wasn't a tenor. But, so I don't know, I guess I'm a baritone, I've got a good low range, but I have some good high notes. Yeah. And people say I'm a lyric baritone. I guess that's close enough. But I have no ambitions of becoming a tenor. Yeah, when I went to Europe in 1987, it was pretty common for singers to go to Europe. It wasn't really mandatory, but I already had a wife and 2 kids, and I didn't want to do an apprentice program in the United States. I was offered a couple of them, and I turned them down for the sole reason that I didn't want to have to move my whole family for my sake. And I was tired of being in school. I didn't want to do school anymore. I wanted to just go out there and do it, and I figured, even though I had done very little opera, the fastest way to learn would be to go get a job in a European opera house and do lots of roles in a very short period of time and just learn it by doing it. And I fell on my face a lot of times, but it was very quick way to learn the stagecraft and learn what it means to sing in an opera. And my oldest daughter just graduated from USC yesterday with a bachelor's in voice, and she's going to Juilliard in the fall to continue her voice studies. So, and my middle daughter, our middle daughter, I should say, is studying psychology at USC, and our youngest one, our son, is going to USC in the fall in music industry. So now I can say all of my children and all of my dollars go to USC. She's studying opera, and in fact, we did a concert together a couple months ago in Pasadena with a symphony orchestra, just the two of us doing duets and arias of Mozart, and it was really fantastic. And we also did an event for the Los Angeles Opera about a week ago, honoring Flora Thornton, who sponsors the Domingo Thornton Young Artist Program, as well as the Thornton School of Music at USC. And we sang together for that, and so it's really pretty amazing to do to be singing duets with my daughter. I would love to do something like Rigoletto and Gilda together with her someday, although she's not quite sure she's a soprano or a mezzo soprano. I'm pretty sure she's a soprano, but that'll be some time down the road if that ever happens.
I know the worry and strife that come with a wife, but here is a man who'd gladly give up his life to marry you, Mary.